scrap. So we are giving to the vendor A.
Yeah. No. The first question is when I am receiving the material from the vendor, I want
Okay.
scrap. So how to
This,
achieve this subcontracting
yeah,
process?
this only right.
Okay, this one only. Yeah. Vendor A,
Yeah,
then vendor B, and
I remember. Okay, nice. So it's
okay.
like when you are working in plant and you have requirement of some subcontracting, what you will do? You will give that material to the vendor A. What vendor will do? The vendor will do some kind of work and he will turn the fully finished goods to the plant. Okay. Now what is happening in the scenario? Some kind of scrap is generating here. Some kind of scrap is generating here. So we want this scrap also to be bring back to the plant. The vendor should bring the scrap to the plant. So whenever he is returning the fully finished material, he need to return the scrap also. So if you're working for large industries, for every equipment, okay, the scrap will generate. So the companies will not lose the scrap. The scrap is also somewhat costly. So every material we want scrap to be returned to the plant. At that time we need to follow the requirement in SAP. Okay, so we need to achieve this in SAP with respect to the purchase order. Okay, now let me go to SAP and teach you. First tell me how many materials I need to create now. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
No.
Okay, create now.
Two raw materials,
Okay, let's
one
take two
finished
more.
product.
Okay, let's take two more raw materials. Okay, so let me create a raw material. So listen carefully. Okay, this is very important concept. Okay, subcontracting is very important concept. Let me have like so 350 277 created. Material one. Okay. Okay, the material is created. So let me create one more raw material. I'm creating string or okay. Let's create string only. Okay, the material 278 has been created now. See material 2.
Ma'am, what a thing can do or what a person can do.
So let me create other material which is for scrap also. Okay. So scrap also, and one more thing is like, let me create for first finished good. Total how many materials guys now?
Three now.
Sorry,
Three.
Three materials.
three materials. Just I want a brief explanation like two raw materials, one finished good,
Okay,
like
two
that.
raw
Okay.
materials and one finished material.
One finished material. Okay. And I want like so this is a finished good I'm creating.
Okay.
So for finished good, what is the price control?
Variable. I mean, uh, there is fixed price.
Okay. So always the finished goods price should be more than the
Raw materials.
component. Yeah, raw materials price. So now which scenario we are speaking?
Scrap.
We are speaking the scrap. So if we want to see the scrap, scrap is also a kind of raw material. So we need to have a material for scrap also. Without having the scrap material, we can't issue the scrap to the plant. Understand, guys?
Yes, yes, Ram.
Okay.
If you want to use the different raw material, it's like waste will be there in real time. There will be some customized raw material types will be there, like a waste
Hmm.
management. But few scrap will be there. They will use for different kind of purpose. So at that time, they can't mention that raw material. So most of the times, if it is scrap, then you can use waste management material. If it is not waste management, then you can use some other kind of material types. It's up to the company requirement. You don't worry. Okay.
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 So 350279. Okay. These for scrap. Did I create the finished good? All right.
Six
9.
nine.
1069. Okay. Material 4, which is scrap.
279.
4279. Okay. 279. Totally, we have two raw
Okay.
materials, one finished good, and one scrap material.
One scrap material.
Okay.
Yes.
Now we will see how to proceed with this one. We already have the vendor. No need to create the new vendor. Okay. We already have the vendor. We can take the that vendor. Okay. Now, what the next step will be?
PR.
Sorry,
Info record. Info record.
info record or BOM.
Maintaining components.
You can maintain the components. It's up
BOM.
to you. Okay.
Yes.
What is the finished good? 1069.
1069.
What is the plant? 1000.
1000.
BOM uses for
1000.
production.
One.
Always keep one. Keep date as previous date.
Previous one. Yes.
Is it right? The material is 1069. Is
1469.
it right? Sorry,
1469. 1469.
1469. I'm sorry. 1469. Okay. Thank you.
Six nine.
So what is the T code to create BOM?
CS01.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So what are the components we need to keep? Which material?
First material,
Material 1.
yeah,
Second
two
material.
double seven, 278,
And one more thing, what you need to keep?
279 scrap also.
279.
The scrap.
So what's the difference between all these guys, right? So what is the difference between first two and third one?
So first it will be required to produce your material, that is finished product. But the second, the last one will be
We are getting
generated
the
as per
scrap
cost of
from vendor.
pro-
So
Yeah.
these two, so what you're telling is like these two you are sending to the vendor. This one you are
Mm-hmm.
receiving from the vendor, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes.
Right. So where I am mentioning that these two are sending and this one is receiving. Are you understanding? So
Yes.
I mentioned three, okay, and I mentioned one, one, one. So nowhere I'm telling that, okay, I'm sending these two materials, I'm receiving this material. So if you are receiving any material from the vendor, always you need to keep as minus one.
Okay.
Plus one means
Okay.
you are sending.
Okay.
Minus one means the vendor
Okay.
is
The
returning the
vendor will
product to
have
you.
to send us.
Understand?
Right. Right.
Enter. Scrap or any kind of co-product or any kind of byproduct which you are receiving from the vendor, it means that you need to keep minus one. It means that what system understands that this metal we are not sending to the vendor. This metal just we are receiving. Minus means what? Minus one means the vendor is sending to us. We are not sending to anything vendor. Plus one means what?
Okay.
We are sending to the vendor.
Okay.
Okay, just save it. If you want to create the PR, if you want to create the PR, just create the PR, but that is not mandatory. Let me create PR directly. Go to ME51N, creation of PR.
Mom, it is like
Okay, first create item category L
L.
with the material number 1469. Each plant 1000 plants. Okay, and the quantity I want 10. Enter. Once you maintain bomb, what will happen, guys?
Hmm.
Once you maintain the BOM,
Sorry, Ram.
what will happen? Once you maintain the
We
BOM, what will happen?
The data will be extracted to the component part
Yes, the
of the
data will
PR.
come to the components part of the PR. How the components part will come? Once you keep item category L, then only the components tab will come.
So,
Remember.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, enter the purchasing group. The components is taken automatically. Go to material data. See the components. See the components come automatically with respect to minus indicator.
Okay.
Just to go back. And just save it. So for the T code, the PR is created 1001369. So release the PR. The server is very slow today. I don't know. Okay. This is the PR.
Okay.
The PR has been released. Now convert this PR to PO.
Okay.
Many any vendor. No issue. That price. So what the price will maintain here?
Service.
Service price. So the PO is done. You don't have to do anything, okay? Because only one thing the major is in the material data, the components tab, if you are receiving scrap, you need to maintain -1 for the scrap item. Okay. So if you are giving anything material to vendor for furnishing part and all, there are two things will come, okay? One thing is like, okay, if you are furnishing, scrap will come. We know that, okay, scrap will come. But in some cases, if you are sending a material, so there are some cases that along with that material, when they are doing scrapping and all, a small kinds of other materials will generate. So if they are cutting, a large, iron rod, what will happen? They will be having requirements to cut for 10 centimeters, 15 centimeters. They need to cut for different length, right? Understand? They need to cut for different length. So when they're cutting different length and all, the remaining length will be like 2 to 3 centimeters length will be there. They will cut the product. Now what will happen? The company will use the 2 to 3 centimeters rod to some other purpose. Understand?
Okay.
See what will happen. So when you are furnishing any kind of things, okay, chips will generate, right? When you are cutting any kind of tool, chips will come automatically. So will you use chips for any other
Yes.
kind of scrapping, or you will use for sales? It is up to you. But sometimes what will happen, if they are cutting tools, the other tool will generate. Understand?
Uh, Ram, so
Yeah.
basically byproduct is like your raw.
Co-product is something like which is coming out when they are doing all the cuttings and all.
Yes.
One different material will be coming, which they can directly use. There is no need to do any modification. They can directly use for other purpose.
Yeah, they can use for other purpose. Small kinds of purpose will be there in the company. They will use for
Oh,
some other purpose with the core product.
co-product means it will be supporting product. Yeah.
It can be any kind of things, okay? But they will use for some other purpose. In the company, they can use for some other purpose.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now we created the PO also. Now what we have to release the PO, right? What's the T code to release the PO?
ME
ME
29N.
29 then.
Okay, the PO has been released. Now what we should do?
Michael?
I go.
No, supplying the goods
Sorry,
to
sorry.
vendors, right?
Yeah. So before sending that, there is one more thing we should do.
Okay,
Components. We should.
We don't have stock item.
right.
So we need to add stock, right?
Yeah, because this is a new material, so we have to create the stock in our system.
Yes. So
Okay.
here one thing is like directly can go to MB1B, there you can create. From MyGo also you can create that one. But it's go to MB1B and create from there only.
Okay.
Don't use MyGo for that. The
One.
initial entry. Yeah.
561.
5, yes, 561.
So we need to maintain the material.
277.
278 and
Do you want to add material for scrap also?
It will directly
no.
come now from vendor. That is, we will consider it
So
in MyGo.
we will not maintain the quantity for scrap because scrap we are receiving from the vendor, not we are sending.
Yeah.
Now we maintain the initial entry for both the materials. So now what we can do? We can do transfer posting to the vendor. We can give it to the
Yes,
vendor, right? This material we need to give it to
Yes.
the vendor, and the vendor will give the fully finished good as well as scrap.
right.
So we'll maintain in MB1B.
MB1B, you'll be doing transfer posting to the vendor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the document has been created. Now where you'll go? You'll go to MB1B. So what is the moment type, guys?
541.
541.
541 you will use. If you want to give, directly give the 541 and give the to purchase order and give the
Purchase.
PO number.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, it will take metals automatically, components it will take automatically, okay, which we need to send to the vendor. It will take vendor components automatically from the PO.
What about the scrap?
Document has been created, so we do transfer posting to the vendor. Okay, and if you want to check, you can check it. Okay, MMBE, where you will check?
ME2. ME20.
There also you can check, here also you can check. Okay, 278 is there. We did transfer,
MMBE.
sorry, MMBE,
Okay.
Stock overview. Okay.
stock overview. Can you see here, what is this here?
Stock provided to the vendor.
How much stock we provide to vendor?
10
10 stock.
quantity.
If you want to see the which vendor, they can click on this one, they get the vendor number. Can you see? 1000278 vendor.
Yeah.
Okay. We did transfer posting to the vendor, right? Now what we should do?
MyGo.
There you go. Because once you do transfer posting, he will do punishing and he will send back the goods to us.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
once you receive the goods, you should do my go.
Michael.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Enter the PO number.
Store location 0001.
Okay. So can you see what and all we are receiving now?
Finished product and scrap.
Click on plus icon here.
Oh, raw materials.
Can you see what is and all here?
Yeah.
Yes, movement
See.
types.
What is 101?
Goods
Creation
to
of
receipt.
Goods
Finished
receipt
code. 101 is
yeah.
for finished goods which are receiving to the plant. What is 543?
Right. Consumption.
consumed
Consumption for, it's a consumption
Consuming
for the
the
sale material. 543 minus minus.
Yes.
And can you see it down? What is 545?
545.
It says scrap
It's
material.
the scrap.
What is plus? We are receiving the material scrap. See, two are consumption and one is plus 545. That's it.
yeah.
Okay. Just check it and post it. Now, what about the stock? Which stock it will show in MAB now?
Final goods.
unrestricted.
Sorry,
Finished product
Unrestricted.
unrestricted.
Finished product.
Right.
finished product you will see. Okay.
Right.
And one more, what you will see?
Scrap.
Scrap we can't see.
Okay. Okay.
We can't see scrap. And what is the use of receiving?
In MME, we can do the inventory transaction,
See,
like
one thing
your
is like
stock transaction.
545 is like, okay, which vendor send to the plant. Okay. But thing is like,
Okay.
still it will show like it's with vendor only because scrap we need to take manually. I will tell you. With a with a different movement type, we need to receive the scrap. I will show you. Wait, let me compare this one.
So Ram, the scrap will be in the vendor's account. Like
Scrap is in?
the scrap will be in vendor's like tab in MMB even
Yes,
after
yes,
removing.
exactly. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Now check
Okay.
the finished good material 1469. Refresh it, click on. See, for finished good material, the
Right.
stock you can see as 10. But now we need to check for the scrap material.
279.
Okay, execute. Can you see?
Stock provided to vendor. Yes. Yes. Yes,
Now
Ram.
what we should do?
10.
MB1B. What the movement type I can use? To send to vendor, what is the movement type? If you are sending to vendor, what is the movement type?
541.
5100279.
That is right. 100278. One double zero two seven eight.
278.
Okay.
So what is the material number? Scrap material number. So how much scrap you need to receive?
279.
How much scrap you need to receive?
10.
10 scrap.
10.
Enter. Save it.
Okay.
Okay, document posted. Can you please check now? MMB stock. Can I see where it is scrap?
Unrestricted use.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Understood. So this is scrap scenario. So what is the other scenario? What I told?
Uh, The third scenario was when we purchase a spring from the same vendor who provides us the services.